How's everybody doing? I got the entertaining crowd, huh? Yeah, everybody have coffee ready to go? Okay, so my name is Dionna Bailey. I'm here. I'm going to give you a little background about who I am, where I've come from, because I think when you understand somebody, you kind of understand their point of view. I'm going to talk about Nexus Earth and why I think you need to know about it, but most importantly, I'm going to talk about blockchain technology because that's what actually drew me to this community. So, do I have a clicker? So I am a 18-year Army veteran medic. It's a very interesting dynamic to go from that world to this world. I retired last year, and then I came over here, and it is very different viewpoints than what I'm used to. I work with Nexus Earth, which is a decentralized community. I don't know if you guys have ever worked in a decentralized community, but it is definitely not the Army or the military. Because you look at them and you're like, I want you to do this, and they're like, we don't give a shit what you want us to do. So this is me, a month after my 17th birthday. Before you think I'm all noble, I was actually a bad kid, and my mom made me join the Army. Dragged me off, made me go to boot camp. A couple years later, which one? I'll go this way. A couple years later, I volunteered to go to Bosnia at 19 years old. This was my first deployment. This is actually taken in an orphanage where we went and did some humanitarian work. It was really interesting because they're like, oh, we want you to bring socks and toilet paper and toothbrushes. My boss and I were like, kids don't want that crap. So we went and got candy and toys, and that's why they love me so much. Then while I was in Bosnia, September 11th happened, and like every other normal American, I saw a need to step up and go defend my country. So I went active duty. I was stationed in Germany, and I deployed for the invasion, and then I turned around and deployed for OIF2. While I was there, when you live in a third world country, it's a very interesting dynamic, right? You're used to America, and we're used to our issues and the questions we have and the problems we have. And when you go to a different country and you really see the things that they struggle with, it kind of gives you a different perspective on how good we have it over here. I'm not saying we have it perfect by any means, but I can tell you that compared to what they go through, we have pretty fantastic lives. My fourth deployment, I left my 4 boys, right? So now we're talking the end of the Iraq War. I went for to the beginning of the invasion in OIF2, and then I went back and closed down Iraq. Very different times. In the beginning, it was very reactionary. And then towards the end, it became more, how do we enable this country to take care of themselves after we leave? Were we successful? I don't know. Do you know how long it takes to change a nation? I mean, we were there for over a decade, and I'm not sure how much we really did, but I can tell you we all went over there and tried as much as we possibly could. By the time I got out, I made the rank at E7. I was getting looked at for E8. I did work as a first sergeant. I felt like my career was fantastic. I took advantage of every opportunity I could. I graduated top 10% of every school that I went to. I volunteered for all the tough jobs. I volunteered for every single deployment. Every time my country asked me to step up, I was more than happy to do it. I missed birthdays, holidays. I missed my son's first and second birthday, right? Because that was my duty. I love America. I love the people of America. I love freedom. And I'm willing to sacrifice my entire life to make sure we have it, and our kids have it, and their kids have it. So some interesting facts about the military. Obviously, sorry if I apologize if I swear. I tend to do it. I'm trying not to do it. But a lot of us came out kind of fucked up from all of that. So war is not a natural thing, right? Everybody, I talk to a lot of liberals around here, and they're like, oh, you joined the military, you must want to kill people. Well, killing people is not a natural thing. And I was a medic. So if I killed anybody, I was a really bad medic then, but I wasn't, so don't worry, I didn't. You go through these things that they ask you to do that are not normal for Americans, but we did it. And coming back, getting out is a difficult process. You go through 18 years, and it's constant go, 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 go. And then when you are starting to get out, 1, you have time to decompress and really think about all that stuff you just went through. And 2, they make you talk about it like 20 times. And oh, by the way, the 20 different people you talk to don't give you any help at all, like at all. So it's like, tell me your story. Okay, great, thank you. Tell me your story. Okay, great, thank you. Tell me your story. Okay, great, thank you. And you're like, can you guys just write this down and share it with each other? I'm kind of tired of talking about it. So now I get out of the military, and you go through that honeymoon phase, and you're excited because you're like, yay, I have freedom, and I can get a sunburn and not get yelled at, and I could be in Mexico and not worry about my sergeant major blowing up my phone, being like, why are you in Mexico? Actually, it's a lot worse than that if you go to Mexico without permission. So I was excited. I was excited to be out of the military. I was excited to have the next chapter of my life. About December of last year, I realized, maybe things weren't so good. And I started having a very difficult time. By March of this year, I knew something was really off. I wasn't getting out of bed. I wasn't my normal bubbly self. I wasn't interacting with people. I just wasn't me. So I go to the doctor and I'm like, I need help. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I really need some assistance. And they're, okay, obviously something's wrong and here's some meds, and I'm a homeopathic person. I don't really like to take Western medication. So they gave me some medication, and then I go to the VA and I'm like, hey, you guys, I need help. Okay, we'll go talk to this person. Okay. Go there, tell my story. Hey, I need help. Okay, we'll go talk to this person. Okay. Hey, I need help. So I found that the system was broken, right? Here I am, 18 years, dedicated my life, my family, my sanity, my personal well-being, my family's well-being, sacrificed for my country, and then I go to ask for help and I can't even get it. That's kind of sad, right? It's frustrating. And it's not like I'm asking for a lot. I'm like, hey, give me some therapy. Maybe, I almost lost everything. I almost lost my house. I almost lost my car. I almost lost it all. And nobody was there. And when that realization hits that you're just a number, it's a little disheartening. So for me, I get frustrated. The VA system still works off of paper records. Paper records. From Germany, right? From Bosnia, anytime I was seen, anytime anything happened, they didn't have the systems in place to communicate with each other. The VA systems don't talk to each other. The Army systems don't talk to the VA systems. If you're deployed, those systems don't talk to, all the way around, you're going through these experiences and nobody's talking to anybody. But guess what? The VA will only help you on the things that you can document. Kind of an issue, right? You go through all of that stuff, and if you can't provide the documentation to show that you went through it, you don't get the help you need. I could prove I was blown up in Iraq. I could prove that I came back and got beat up by my ex-boyfriend who had PTSD. I can prove that all those things happened to me, but because I don't have the medical records to back it up, they're not willing to help me out with it. That's a broken system. I love this quote, right? It's huge. It's huge in America. We have a lot of broken systems that we are constantly forced to use, right? We talk about the financial systems. You talk about the construction industry. You talk about the military, the VA. And we have all this amazing technology, and yet somehow we refuse to embrace it. This is why I fell in love with blockchain. I think it's the answer. I think it's the answer to a lot of our problems. It is this insane, intense, amazing technology that our imagination can use and adapt to the way that we need it to be, right? So when I first found out about blockchain, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an expert, I'm not a tech person, I'm not like this super savvy computer geek, I'm just this random person who found something and thought, holy shit, that's amazing. And I quit everything. I quit it all. I quit what I was doing normally during the day. I quit everything, and I dedicated my life to this because that's how much I believe in it. And obviously, you could see when I believe in something, I really go for it. So here's some amazing things that are happening through blockchain technology. The construction industry is one of the oldest industries that has not been changed. They still actually give paper checks to their workers. A lot of them who are illegal immigrants or kind of the lower echelon, not educated, not having bank accounts. They hand them a check, then they got to miss a day of work so that they can go cash a check, right? And then the banks, for the construction industry, the interest rates can be anywhere from 30 to 70%. It's insane. And then if you don't get paid on time, you're accruing that interest the entire time it's going through. So that's a broken industry, right? But yet nothing's been done to change it. So a fantastic project is Build 1X, and they're getting ready to come out in December. And they are going to revolutionize the construction industry through blockchain technology. And this is what we're looking for, right? This is what we want, the things that takes the power away from the people that are just making our lives miserable and putting it back in our hands so that we can do it ourselves. You go from a 30 to 70% interest rate to 0% interest loans. Do you know how much money that's going to save in housing? What if your house was $100,000 less? Wouldn't that be great? I mean, I want to save $100,000. We didn't make a lot of money in the Army, just so you guys know. So I'm a nickel and dime kind of girl. So being able to save that money enables you to have more money, to be able to spend more money, to have more money for your kids, to give more money into your life. And it's all through blockchain technology. Isn't that awesome? No? You guys are like, I don't know. We're back and forth. We're not sure about it. The financial industry. Okay, so this is where I'm going to get a little heated for a minute because it drives me absolutely crazy. Everybody knows about Wells Fargo, right? What a big scandal that was. Okay, and do you guys know that the CEO didn't have to pay back any of that money? So even though he knew his paycheck was fraudulent, he didn't have to pay back a dime. And oh, by the way, he was also on the board of the Federal Reserve. So do I feel really comfortable knowing that my government borrows money from somebody who has such skewed business objectives to begin with? Like, that's just not okay. Experian. How fun is that? Are we excited about Experian? No? I was buying my house this month. Can I tell you what frustration that was? So now somebody's in our credit. We're forced to use a credit agency that's not secure. Not only are they not secure, but oh, by the way, they didn't even care. They didn't care. They knew in February. They didn't investigate till June. They didn't tell us until late September. That's how valuable you are to them. That's how much they care about our well-being. You just get frustrated with it, right? I work hard. I've worked days, nights, weekends, holidays, 36 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours straight. Fine, not a problem. But why do I have to get ripped off? Because people up there just don't care. I'm not okay with it. Bitcoin provided an answer. You guys have a BitPay card? Everybody into it? I love it, right? So and everybody's like, no, you want to hold on to your Bitcoin. No, I don't. I don't want to touch a bank. I don't want anything to do with a bank. That's my mentality. I like my money. I want to save my money. So I'm switching over to Bitcoin. It is one of the most interesting technologies. You know, the other day, I grabbed the wrong card. Instead of my debit card, I grabbed my BitPay card. I called somebody up, hey, I grabbed the wrong card. Can you throw some money on my card? Yeah, sure. 2 minutes later, I had the money I needed, done. You wouldn't get that with a bank. They want to draw it out. They want to hold your money. They want to play around with it. Here's another interesting thing. In the construction industry, if you use the money from one project on another project, you've committed a federal crime. In the banking industry, if they want to use your money to loan out, play in the stock market, and do whatever they want to do with it, they can do it. And it's fine. It's perfectly legal. Nobody cares. So why the double standard? Why is it okay for them and not for us? Bitcoin has some challenges though, right? We know they can't do microtransactions. Some of the processing time can be a little slow. So my first thing with Bitcoin was when I ordered my BitPay card, right? Go through Coinbase, jump on there. I order it, I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting my BitPay card. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, wait, 8 minutes, when's it gonna go through? And okay, wait, is this gonna go through soon? Because it's saying 10 minutes, it didn't go, what does that mean it didn't go through? I don't know what that, so I'm not getting my BitPay card now? Like, and then where'd that Bitcoin go? Is that coming back to me or what? So it took a minute, and then it's like, oh, sorry, the transaction didn't go through. And then it was like, hey, congratulations, you got a BitPay card, and it showed up. So it was a little confusing the first time, right? It's still getting there. It's not perfect, but it's easy and it's accessible. So they can't do the microtransactions. The miners being rewarded by block size is what bogs it down. So because the miners they have bigger incentive to go after the bigger blocks, the smaller transactions fall off, and that's why they have the issues with the microtransactions. And then there's concerns over quantum computing, which we'll go over a little bit, but those are still all theoretical. So here's where Nexus comes in, right? Nexus Earth is amazing, and there's so many different parts to it that I'm only going to focus on one today, but I definitely encourage you guys, if you're interested, to please find us after and continue to learn, because there's so many different ways that Nexus is going to change the world. And I say that as a bold statement, but I wholeheartedly mean it. So we are not an ICO. It is the embassy is a 501c3 nonprofit. We are on exchanges. We've been in business for 3 years already. We've made it this far organically. We did not take a bunch of money and try to launch it off. This is just because people see the technology, they recognize it, they love it, and they love the community. I mean, our community is amazing. So here's some of the problems that we solve, right? When Colin Cantrell, who is the creator of Nexus, he's been in this industry for a very long time. His ability to process concepts is far beyond anything you guys could possibly imagine. Like, he'll literally code, and then he'll go play the piano for like 30 minutes, and then he'll play the cello, and I'm like, Jesus, guy, do you ever take a nap? Like, what are you doing? He's just all over the place. But he's so creative. He sat back, and he looked at Bitcoin, and he said, okay, so what are the challenges? We understand that there's issues. We understand that there's flaws, right? And if instead of taking it and building upon something that's already broken, and we know that it's broken, although it is amazing, right? He sat down and he rewrote the entire framework. So while we are a blockchain technology, just like Bitcoin is, we're actually completely written differently in cryptograph. So he uses prime numbers or prime number clusters. He uses different bit hashes to improve the security on it. So we fix the challenges of Bitcoin. And so what I say to you guys is, if you're not familiar with Nexus, get familiar with it. It is the new technology that's going to revolutionize everything. It's faster, it's more secure, it's easy to use, it's going to be everywhere, and there's things that are coming in the future that are going to enable us to be even more accessible to everybody in the world. Our community is that of an idealistic nature. So while we are smart and we understand this technology, and of course everybody loves money, right? I know everybody loves the money, so that's why I'm talking about the coin right now. We just want to see the world be a better place. We want to level that playing ground so that we're not having the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. Did you guys see there's a billionaire that just came out with some statistics about the top 40 and the bottom 60? Did anybody see that article? Yeah? What did it say? You're shaking.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, okay, so since the 80s, there's always been a big divide, right? The top 40 are the rich and the bottom 60 are the poor. So since the 80s, that gap has multiplied 10 times. That's kind of a big deal, right? You're talking 30 years, 30, 35 years, and 10 times that gap has grown. That's huge. You know what that is? That's greed. That's the people above us who just don't care. They're just not into it at all. They would rather see us suffer and see them get richer for nothing more than just money. And we're here to say, we're taking the power back. We're not letting you do that to us anymore. We're going to manage ourselves, and we're going to take care of it because we matter, and we're important, and we're tired of suffering under your hands. Do you guys have any questions? That was like right on 20 minutes, too.
I actually have one. Do you have your own proprietary blockchain or on Ethereum?
No. So it's our own blockchain, right? It is, let me go back to, right? So it's a 1050, actually I might have inverted those numbers a little bit. So I think it's a 1054-bit hash versus Bitcoin's 256. So it's a totally different cryptography. It's not the same as Bitcoin. Some aspects of it are the same as Bitcoin. But like I said, we found the things that weren't working and we fixed them. And then the prime number clusters, so if you guys don't know how that works, you'll go through numbers and it'll be nothing, and then all of a sudden you'll have a gigantic group of prime cluster numbers. And if you go to the nexusearth.com website and look at our white paper, it actually shows you the theories, the mathematical theories that talk about quantum computing and why we combined them to show that when quantum computing comes out, this will be a quantum resistant blockchain. Bam, not bad for a techie girl, or non-techie girl, huh? I'm getting it. I'm sorry?
Which currency does it use? Currency?
So Nexus is the currency. Nexus is the currency. Yep.
Nexus is the currency and it has its own blockchain.
Yes, it does.
And you are traded on other exchanges?
We are. Yep. Right now we're on Bittrex. We're supposed to be on Shapeshift by the end of the year. We're getting ready to go on Open Ledger, and I think our mining or our voting's getting ready to open for Not Bitfinex, sorry. I've been talking to like 1,000 different exchanges. We're getting ready to vote on one of the other ones. If you come by my table later, I'll tell you, you can vote for us. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Don't you guys have a plan to do a satellite network?
Yeah, we do. I wasn't going to get into that because people get so confused, but I'll tell you since you brought it up because it's really exciting. So, lucky for us, Colin Cantrell's dad is Jim Cantrell, right? So if you guys aren't familiar with Jim Cantrell, he worked for American NASA. He helped set up Russian NASA. He started SpaceX with Elon Musk. He broke off and then did his own private missile called Vector. Nexus is a stakeholder in Vector, and as of next year, it's still in the works, but we are anticipating having a launch date where we will send our own CubeSats into space. Once we've sent our own CubeSats into space, we've established mesh networks on ground that'll help facilitate a decentralized internet. Whoop, whoop. I know, right? It's exciting, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. If you just embrace it, just embrace it. It's not going anywhere. Nobody's going to take it. We're going to find a way to make this happen. Go ahead.
What is this social coin?
We have nothing to do with that. The social coin, yeah, they knew we were bombs, so they jumped on our name and kind of riding our train. But that social coin has nothing to do with us.
And how is the Nexus blockchain related to all the things that we just described about the missile and other things?
What was the last part of that?
How is the Nexus blockchain related to the things that you just described, about the question that gentleman asked?
Oh, so it's okay.
How is that blockchain related to that?
Well, so here's the thing about Nexus. So a lot of communities are one thing, right? So Bitcoin's a currency, Ethereum's a kind of currency, kind of platform for smart contracts. We are a multitude of things. So we'll have a decentralized internet. We'll have a coin. We're actually currently working on making, we can't call them smart contracts, but they're contract blocks because we can make them that are not Turing complete. And so you're saving energy, which is going to reduce the cost. And so once we're finished with those, we'll be able to add contracts as well. So there's a multitude of things that we're building within the community. So that's why I say it's hard. It's not just one thing where Nexus will be everywhere. That's why we call it Nexus Earth. We want to bridge the gap between people. We want to bridge the gap between the higher and the lower. And we want to bridge the gap in the technology and say, we can do this better. We can make it happen. Anything else?
Where are you guys located?
So the embassy's in Colorado, and then the main hub is actually out of Scottsdale, Arizona. So if any of you guys, we are an open community. If what I've said is interest you, or you're interested in the project, or you feel like there's something that you can do to contribute and help, please feel free to let us know. We are on Slack. I believe we had to change our Slack channel because we hit our limit, so over 5,000 on Slack. But we want to hear from you. We want you to be a part of it. This is all of us coming together to do this. It's a decentralized community. And so none of us work for each other. Nobody owns anybody. Nobody owns Nexus. This is for us, for the people, and it takes the people to make it happen. We do have a coin. Yes, it's NXS. It's not okay, so the Nexus social coin was an ICO that just paired with our name. It has nothing to do with us. So the Nexus coin, which is NXS on the exchanges, has been around for 3 years.
Number 81.
I'm sorry?
You're in 81 position.
Is it now? Yeah, well, we were doing better than that. It's up and, you know how it goes. It's up and down. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting the word out. You know what I mean? Go look at our white paper. When you read through it, you're going to be like, oh my God, this technology is absolutely amazing. The problem is it's so amazing that trying to get people to understand, you know what I mean? It was almost like trying to get people to convert from fiat to Bitcoin. And then you're like, hey, Bitcoin, yeah. But, Nexus is, we're over here and we're good. You want to check us out? Any other questions?
How do you differentiate yourself from Ripple?
Oh, gosh. Ripple is, Ripple, if I'm correct, right, is the banking coin. So we don't like banks. Screw those people. Right? we took.
Well, as far as the technological premise, they're kind of the same, but they deal with the institutional aspect of it.
Yeah.
They're more
Well, okay, so first off, we'll do two things, right? So anytime the bank is going to touch something, it's going to get construed. Yeah. Yeah. So why would you take a decentralized system that was meant to go anti-bank and put it in the hands of the bank? It's almost like giving the Iraqis our weapons, which we might have done that, but I don't say nothing. So it's counterproductive for us. Now, on the technology side, Ripple is still based off of the principles of Bitcoin, right? So they may have made a few minor adjustments. We went back and rewrote the entire chain. So our blockchain is not the same as Bitcoin. It is a completely different cryptographically written blockchain. Bam, I rehearsed that once or twice. Any other questions? Did that answer your question? Okay, good. Oh, me on slide, are you, so Nexus Earth. Okay. Nexus Earth, I got full. Yeah, if not, stop by our table and we'll help you guys out. Yes, sir? I didn't hear you. Oh, so for the mining protocol for Nexus, right? So, so different ways that we worked our blockchain. The miners for Bitcoin are rewarded based off of block size. Miners for Nexus are rewarded off of truth of weight. So the longer and the more honest you are, the higher you get a minting rate. The first time that you're dishonest, it completely wipes you down and you have to start over from the beginning to work your way back up. So obviously there's advantages to being honest and being quick when you're finding your proof of work. And then because we don't reward off of block size, we're able to handle microtransactions, right? So our systems aren't bogged down by block size. They go as they're coming, and then you're not worried about the small ones falling off. Also, we've changed the way that things are mined, and this is where the techie stuff kind of gets out of my hands, but we don't have to use as much energy to do it. So it's more cost effective to mine through Nexus than it is through Bitcoin. Anything else? These are good questions. I love it. Come on, keep them coming. I could be here all day. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, if you go to nexusearth.com, they're on there.
So is it proof of work?
Yes.
Not proof of stake?
No, proof of work. What, are you looking at me crazy? Like?
No, I'm a little lost, but I'm getting there.
Okay, what is it?
No, it's okay.
Okay, come by, we'll talk. Go ahead.
Have you been approached by hedge funds or venture capital guys about what you do?
Absolutely, because we're bomb. Yes. No, okay. Actually, our one of the guys in our community is a hedge fund guy. So we have a very interesting team. Colin, who is the creator, right? He's the son of Jim Cantrell, completely eccentric, love him to death, understands those concepts. He's the mind and the brains behind all of this. Kier is the hedge fund guy that works with us. Then we have Preston and Keith. They've been on board since the beginning. Jacinda is the CEO of Time. Her and Kier actually do Time together. So as we're going, our network is expanding more and more. We're getting ready to close with a couple of really big industries that are letting us kind of come in and design the way they need currency to work so that we can make it functional for them. And so next year, we're going to have a lot of really big things coming out. I'm sorry? I'm not sure who that is. You might be on that social coin again. Those guys are pesky. They're not ruining our reputation. Yeah, well, they're riding the train. Yeah, and it's so I'm not going to say ICOs can be a really good thing and ICOs can be a not so good thing. So do I feel confident taking somebody's money on an idea that I think I can do? I think some people out there have true intentions and some people don't have true intentions. So we're kind of on the line when it comes to ICOs. I don't know the social coin for Nexus. I don't know them personally. I've seen their ads, which is...
Tried to research a little before I came here because I didn't know anything, and then I got all this information, which I didn't have the ability to tell whether it was true or false.
Yeah, no, that's probably true for the Nexus social coin, but that's not true for Nexus Earth. If you go to nexusearth.com or Nexus Earth Facebook, I believe we're NXS Earth on Twitter, and you should be able to find us that way.
Well, no, I bought some.
Oh. Did you? Well, you know what? I hope it turns into $1 million for you. And come by. We'll get you another 100. Any other questions? Oh, yes. All of the above. So we'll go in order, right? So micropayments would be the first benefit as of right now. We're working on enterprise solutions, and then the contracts would be next year when we release the contract blocks. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's good. It's good stuff we got in the works. We're just back there like cranking away. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, let me get the guy right behind you, and then you can go.
So it looks like your currency, like Bitcoin and Litecoin,
Correct.
what advantages do you have over Litecoin?
We're faster than Litecoin. We can do 80 to 90 transactions per minute, and they can only do 70 to 80. How's that? We're faster than the Litecoin. Go ahead. So Trinium is coming out at the end of the year, and that will have our mobile wallet update, and we're also working on getting on Coinomi right now, so soon. Anybody? Go ahead.
Plans on solving scaling. Litecoin has way more users than Nexus, so that could be. So when Nexus has the same amount of transactions happening as Litecoin, what are some of the things that you plan for scaling?
So, okay, I'm gonna throw this out there again, and again, the technology is crazy. Colin has found a way to come up with, and we've toyed back and forth between a 3-dimensional chain and a multi-dimensional chain. So he actually found a way, instead of a blockchain being one way and linear, he found a way to make it expand, and that would actually solve the scalability issue. That is in the works as well, and it should be finished hopefully sometime next year. Nothing else? I did good, right? Yeah, yay! Thank you guys so much for your time. Please stop by the Nexus table. Happy to talk to you.